Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Odd Noodle Podcast. My name is Paul Scrivens.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mary Beth. This is a surprise podcast for me. I don't know what the topic is.
I was gonna say it better not be like a surprise, like in the time, because you told me earlier in the week, hey,
No,
a
no.
podcast on Friday, and so today, before I can't. Today, basically, the topic is branding, but not how to brand and everything. More about the importance of brand, and I bring this up because I was going through Reddit. And I don't know if I'm subscribed to the blogging subreddit or it just showed it to me or
Mhm.
something. But basically what happened was there's a question of, is this one particular program's curriculum still worth buying now after one of the latest Google updates? And for those who don't know, like Google updates the algorithm all the time. And for bloggers and SEO people, it's always a huge deal because they got to see like their rankings and things go up, things go down, and all that kind of stuff. And the comment section, and I was interested because this is a program that is very well known. They're pretty big, and their whole thing is basically this is the tactic that you use. Like you use this tactic, which a lot of different people do in our spaces. You succeed by doing this one particular tactic. This is our tactic. Stick with it, whatever. What happened with Mary Beth and I a couple of years ago was when we first started teaching blogging, we had tactics, and the tactics were use Pinterest, here's some SEO stuff. Then Pinterest changed, and we're like, okay, we don't want to recommend Pinterest as the main tactic anymore because that changed and becomes a headache, everything. Then there's lots of SEO changes and people were getting stressed and everything. And so what we did, which was either it probably wasn't smart business wise, and I'll say why in a second, but it was smart morally and ethically,
Yes.
is that we said, look, one, you need to get on social media, not because social media was the thing that was going to blow you up, but it was one of the things that was going to help you grow your brand. Like you just have to start building relationships and getting out there and talking to your audience and
Mhm.
doing those kind of things. And
Yeah.
obviously there was always a ton of pushback because people see other gurus, experts saying, oh, you just have to do this tactic. So nowadays it would be like, here's how to create a faceless YouTube channel. I see those people all the time. And
Yeah.
for some people that works and everything. There's always going to be trending tactics that always work at the time and everything. But part of my downfall is I always think 5-10 years out. What are you really going to have a faceless channel that works 5 years from now? And everything? You
Mhm.
really have something that works 10 years from now. And the same comes with pretty much every other tactic. And so the strategy has always been just how do you build a brand that serves your audience and that people love? That's just the strategy. And then the tactics can change within there. So are you with me so far? You follow me so far?
I'm with you so far. Yes.
Okay. Okay. And so within this Reddit thread, it's just everybody is just trashing this program
Mhm.
because they're saying the tactics are just outdated and they don't update their tactics to keep up with what's going on today.
Mhm.
And it makes sense. Like I could see how that was happening, but it's also curious because everybody else will say, okay, what thing works right now? Okay, what thing? And in my head, I'm just like, oh, what's the one thing that will always work? Is just going out, helping people, letting them know that you're there and you exist and you're just building a brand around that. That's not the sexy thing to say, though. That's not the pretty thing to say. And it's one of those things that is you can't really measure and
Mhm.
everything. It doesn't get the instant results all the time.
And there's not like step by step, like here's exactly what you do.
And so it's a challenge and everything. And I think that it's funny because this was like 5 years ago when we made these changes because we just kept on seeing all every tactic we would switch to, it'd work for a while and then it would stop. And yet we're like, okay, and it's okay, let's take a step back. Okay, what's the thing that we want to do? We want to make sure that you're building something you're known for, people love, because at the end of the day, if you have this brand that people know, people love, people are sharing with other people, it doesn't matter what algorithm changes happen anywhere. Doesn't matter. Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube, SEO, like it doesn't matter over time
Mm.
when you have that.
And I think part of thinking back to that time 5 years ago, and I bet probably similar right now, is that a lot of the people that are go into that panic, oh, the algorithm changed. I don't know what to do. It's probably their first time being through that. And so they don't see the other options, the light at the end of the tunnel. They don't see that, no, this is just a bump in the road. Like you figure out the
Right.
next thing. And as long as you have that foundation of that, I'm going out and helping people. And as long as you have that foundation, you can always change the tactic. Like it feels, but I know I can remember that in the moment to feel where it's just the whole.
Right, like, why'd I do this work? Or
Yeah.
it would be like two groups of people. One would just be like, okay, it's over for me. This is a disaster. Things changed. I did all this work for this one thing and it changed, blah, blah. The other people would be like, okay, I understand change, but what's the new thing that I have to figure out quickly
Yeah.
and everything?
I think there's a third group too. This third group is I'm gonna pretend that didn't happen and I'm just gonna do what I was doing before, but I'm gonna do 3 times more of it.
Like, I just have to do it. I just have to
Yeah.
increase my output in some way and everything. And in today's environment, like if you're somehow watching or listening to this podcast 5 years from now, this could be totally different. But like right now, what we're seeing a lot in our space is PLR type product.
Mhm.
For those who don't know what PLR is, somebody else creates an offer, you get to buy the resale rights to it, and you get to sell it under your own brand and everything. The PLR has been around forever and everything. But the problem with PLR, and I think if you talked to Mary Beth and I a couple months ago, we would say, "Oh, the problem is it's not your thing, blah blah blah, and everything." I'm over that aspect of it because it's okay if you can make whatever changes, or if you're not.
Mhm.
The big problem though is people the way people teach it is, I've already created the product for you. That's all. The business is done.
Yeah.
Right? Like business is done. Like you just have to go buy some PLR products, then you just put them on Etsy and put them
Mhm.
on your own shop, and life is good.
Yeah. And it plays right into there is like this group of people who's I just don't know what to create. I don't know how to create it. And they think there's that idea that's the problem. Or that's the first problem. Like that's the problem that's right in front of them.
Right.
And that they don't know like the big problem that's looming down the road for them.
And so our struggle, and this has always been our struggle, and that is that we have to compete with people that are always presenting things as the easiest solution in the world. No matter who we're talking to. We jumped on TikTok, and TikTok was first it was affiliate marketing so easy, then you gotta do this. And now it's PLR so easy, you gotta do this. And the issue is when we're talking to people, and it's very easy for us to say these aren't our people and everything, which is debatable. Like it could be, could not be. That's still things aside. But the problem becomes if we sit here and we go, you anybody can build an online business, but these are the struggles and this is what you got to go through. That message, some people will resonate, but then you have another person saying, "Look, I just started this month and I made $10,000 because I
Right.
was able to resell this thing." Who would you pick? If I was starting off, I would pick that other person as well.
Right.
Like I wouldn't want to hear what you and I are saying and everything because I'd be like,
Mhm. But it is that I just can't get myself to do it. I just can't.
right.
I cannot get myself to say the easy, simple, easy. I can't do it.
Because it's not true.
It's not true.
It's not true. And so going through that Reddit, it just made me think this morning. And I was like, what message do we say to people that were like, okay, you need to build a brand and it's going to take time to build a brand. Now, when I say things take time, that does not mean I'm saying it takes time to make money. I think that's the difference
Mhm.
that people aren't getting and everything.
Yeah.
Like, because some people will resonate with you the moment they see you
Mhm.
and everything. Like that just happens.
Yeah.
And then there are other people that will take time and everything. I'm more talking about building something where whenever there's a big change, you're not looking at whatever guru for that platform is saying, "Oh, this big change happened. This is the new thing you got to do." Like you're just, okay, things changed. I'm just going to keep on putting out the content that I like to put out, the content I know resonates with people, and just keep on going from there and everything. Like I think there are very few people who have built online businesses that are at that level and everything. Um,
I agree with.
that are
I
just
have on TikTok. She's a doctor. She's an OBGYN and we're actually mutual friends. And it's funny because she, like not in real life, just on TikTok, we just follow each other randomly. She followed me maybe 2, 3 years ago and it's a brand new account, had no following whatsoever. And she has I don't know how many followers she said. She's probably close to 1 million followers. Like she has exactly what you're talking about, that brand. She's the person, someone will create a video about something related to like women's health. And she's the person that everybody is tagging in the comments to say, can you come comment? Is this right? Is this, she's like that person that is in those people's minds. That's their go-to person. She's the authority. And I think that that's what you mean by so few people get to that point.
Right.
Where you are the person that people are like, fact check this for me, or what do you think about this?
When I restarted on Noodle, there were some emails that I sent out at the beginning, and the emails resonate with some people, like a few people, but it wasn't like everybody was like, oh my God, like that makes sense. And I understood why, because it's very intimidating. And the emails were based on the idea that no matter what niche you're in, no matter what brand or what topic you're trying to do, whatever audience you're trying to gain, your goal is you have to be top of the mind of the person for that particular thing. Like you just have to be in the long run and everything. And telling that to people, I don't really want to be. And it's and I get it, but I think they're interpreting it the wrong way as well. I think they're like, oh my God, I have to be the world's most renowned expert in everything. And that's not the case. It's like you brought up the OBGYN. I think that's how people think, oh, if I have to be the brand, like I have to be this professional, I have to be it. And that's an example, but that's not always the case.
And I wouldn't even say that it's not that credential that makes her have a following that she has. It's the way that she presents information, the way that she truly like connects with people, and she's just got that way about her. I don't really know how to describe it exactly, but
that resonates with a certain group of people. And it's not that she resonates with all. It's not that she resonates with all women or anything. It's like it's like her people she resonates with, and I think that's what people don't get. Like there is a group of people for you. Yeah, it's not like all the people and everything, right? So we're in this super competitive how to make money niche. There are going to be a ton of people that just aren't for us. We look at our email list now, and we've done a lot of experiments with sending out offers and everything. And we could probably there's a huge chunk of people that we're looking at and we're like, they're not our people.
Just don't subscribe already.
Right. Like they're just not our people and everything. Like it just becomes obvious over time. And what you're just trying to do. And again, it's hard to quantify. Like there's no numbers that say, okay, if you reach this goal, then you're doing things right. So when I say there's going to be just a group of people that completely resonate with you, that completely love you, basically you're building this brand and this business around those people and everything. And it just, over time, you just keep on talking to those people and it builds up. But again, there's no way for me to quantify to say, this is exactly step by step how it's done. You can tell by these analytics that you have it. Like you can't see these things and everything. And that's what makes it difficult and everything. But these are the things that we talk about, not many other people talk about and everything. And so that's like our challenge. This is just our constant challenge.
And I think we talk about it, and I think it's intimidating for people to hear it when someone's thinking about, okay, I want to make money online. I'm going to blog. I'm going to create like a planner, some type of digital product I'm going to do free email planning guides. Like when you are in that beginning phase, like to think about yourself as the go-to person for whatever that thing is, no matter how you might not feel like a massive transformation, or it might feel like a massive transformation. It's very intimidating in the beginning to think, I'm going to be that person. I think that's very scary for people.
I agree. And they shouldn't think like that. Like they should understand that's what they're aiming for, but that it shouldn't be like day one, look, this is what I'm going to do. It's like you start 12 years old in gymnastics and they're like, your goal is to be a world champion and everything. But you're like, I don't even know how to put my outfit on yet. What are you talking about? And everything. Like I haven't gone on the balance. I haven't done any of that yet. But it's just, you just say that and then that's your end goal 8 years from now. Just forget it. I'm just telling you that's what you're aiming for, but now just forget it. Now let's focus on this stuff right here and everything. Again, like that. Because again, like us saying it doesn't mean every day you're waking up going, okay, how do I be the best? How do I be the best? So it doesn't work that way.
And I think that the way that you become that is you just help one person at a time. Like you be that from just one person. Right. Like one person listens to your video, one person reads your blog post, one person reads your email, and they're like, that worked for me.
Right.
And now you are the person for that one person, and you just build it not one by one, but by one small group at a time.
It'll fill one by one. at the beginning. Like it feels like that and everything.
Yeah.
And I'll admit this is the struggle that I go with what we're trying to do because I'm used to bigger numbers. I'm used to these kind of things. And so there are some things that I do that I try to force it and everything. And I'm always reminded it just doesn't work. Like it does not work and everything. But then if I hop on social media and I'm consistent for a couple of weeks and everything, and people are like, oh my God, like I love what you're saying. And then I just signed up for your emails. Oh, I love your emails. Then I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I have to do all the time and everything. But it sucks when it's easier if it's like, oh, I know I'm doing this and I see 10, 20, $30,000 a month coming in. So I
Mhm.
know, oh, I just keep on doing this piece of cake. When none of that money is coming in, then you're like, is this working? Am I doing it right?
Right.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
And I guess the balance, that's why we suggest like you start with the low ticket offer, create a book in a weekend, because then there's like lower stakes. I think it's high stakes when you're like, okay, they say I got to work on this and this kind of messaging. I don't know if I'm doing it right, but I'm also trying to sell my $1,000 course. So I don't know if it's because people don't want to buy $1,000 course.
You it's completely different when you've got that high ticket offer.
There's certain things like you should have like easy targets and everything. And that's why it's okay. If you have a $20 book or $20 template or whatever, like you should be able to sell that in some way,
Yeah.
everything without too much difficulty and everything.
Yeah.
So it's still that whole balance. Like I'm still trying to find that decent messaging. And funny thing is, I think at the end of the day, it's always going to come back to our people, our true people are always going to be the ones that aren't starting at the very beginning. Like they've been through some stuff. They've tried other people. They've hit a roadblock and are like, no, I know what kind of business I want to build. I know how I
Mhm.
want it to be. I just don't know what the issue is. So I think that's when our messaging resonates with those people because they're like, okay, because our messaging is usually resonates with the people that end up going, yeah, I'm tired of hearing the bullshit of everyone else. Like I'm tired. Like I've been through. I've heard that. You guys are just different. You're a breath of fresh air. You're
Yeah.
honest. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That doesn't work with the person who's just starting, know any of that other stuff.
Yeah. And they're not hearing it. They're hearing, "You make your easy 10K a month." That's
Right.
what that's the messages. Those are the messages that they're hearing over and over again. And it's like doubly hard, I think, with social media, especially things like TikTok, because you're seeing the person and you're like, they're just like me. Like that, they're not really any different from me. Why can't I do it? Like, the issues that they're gonna face later because they just don't know yet.
Man, and you, all of you listening, will notice that our conversations are very circular. Where you'll be like, "Oh my god, you guys already discussed this and talked about." But it's again, it always comes back to the easiest person to sell to is always going to be the person that understands the problem and has that urgency to solve the problem. That's what we face right now. Like when we put out an offer earlier this week, and a person we've known forever bought it right away because she has that problem. Like that problem's like right there in front of her. And she's like, this is my solution. I want it right now
Yeah.
and everything. I put out another, I wouldn't call it offer, but I guess it's an offer. I put an offer out this morning and this was like another test one because we sent it to a certain set of people because we're like, we have to see if they don't go for this one, then we don't know what's going on here.
It's time to scrub the list.
And it's like the people aren't biting on it. And one, it could be, we always say it could be timing, but this is such a large group that it went out to that there has to be, in theory, there has to be some people that see this and go, this is perfect for me,
Uh,
but it's not happening. And so you have to sit there and go, is it not happening? One, we know it's not happening because a lot of these people just don't know us. That's what we're talking about. Like brand wise, they see our emails and they're like, okay, cool. These are cool emails. But we're at the same level as everybody else in their inbox,
mhm.
essentially, and everything. The second point would be like, do they understand the problem at all? And I'll say like the way I presented it and basically what it was is I was saying we're going to have a selection of products that we'll put out that we will have a PLR license on and everything. Meaning when I put them out and you own this license, you can do whatever you want with it. I presented it as most PL offers are completely generic because the people that create them, they're not selling to other people who need to learn that topic. They're just selling to other people who want to buy or to resell it and everything.
Mhm.
So for example, if you might find a PL offer on keto, it's going to be very generic and stuff that you can find in a blog post. There's not going to be like, this is my experience with it. This is that because it has to be generic because it's PLR. I'm saying the products that we have with the PLR license are going to have our experiences, our specific strategies, tactics, like there's going to be some uniqueness to them and everything. There's quality behind them that stand out from the crowd and everything. If people don't understand that problem of other PLR products are generic and all that, then what I'm presenting them is okay, so what? And everything. Who cares?
Mhm.
And everything. It's very similar to like when electric cars come out, people are like, oh, you don't have to get gas, but then people are like, but the cars only go this far, and I don't mind getting gas. And then there's certain problems that have to present themselves to people to switch them over. I wouldn't be
Right.
surprised. I would not be surprised if a lot of people that buy electric cars, they do it after they're like, I'm tired of this damn car going to the shop. I'm tired of having taken this car into the shop for this particular reason. I'm tired of having to do this. And they're like, I'm just fed up with it. Let me look
Right.
into an electric car
Yeah.
and everything. And so it's tough being patient trying to find those people and everything, especially when you see everyone else online going, it's this easy and now I'm making this. And then we're like, okay, you're lying to these people, but you get to keep on making money and everything. So it's like mentally for us, like, how do we not ignore those people, see what they're doing, but I don't know, not play to their level. We'll never drop to their level or anything, but
I always have this like on, I always come to this point whenever we have this discussion, they're not being truthful. I always have this kind of debate in my head, like they are being truthful, but they are getting people probably to their product and getting them to buy. And I know that if we get people to our product and get them to buy, we will not only going to have the information that they need, they're going to have they'll have everything that they need. Plus they have us because I don't know why, we're just weirdly obsessed with helping people with this. So they're going to have us and they're going to have some of the other people in the community. They're going to have that support that they need too. And I'm like, just go with that kind of slimy tactic. Get them in and then you take care of them once they're with you. I have that debate in my head every time we talk about this. And in the end, my honesty or integrity side always wins. And I just can't get myself to do it.
and there's still the discussion that you have to have of going, how can my message be close to what they're saying, but still in a way that works for us and everything? Because at the end of the day, it's still distribution and getting out there and those kind of things, which we'll do and we'll be fine over time. It's just for all of you that are like in that weird growing phase of your business, like we're in that phase as well. And it sucks. It's lame. Like it's lame.
Totally.
If you're doing this for the first time, it could be fun because you're like, oh, I'm learning new things and there's new milestones, but this is our 47th rodeo. And it's just like, can we just fast forward to the good part?
Get to the good part. That's the TikTok sound.
And especially when this is the only thing you work on and everything. So it's every single day you're thinking about it. Every single day you wake up and we don't have 9 to 5 jobs to distract us. We're just like, all right, this is our thing. Let's look at the numbers.
Yep.
Oh, it's only the 3rd day in November. We still have we still have plenty of time to go and everything. And so
Right.
it's just funny. And it's still, it's that building the brand and all that kind of stuff. It's awesome what we're doing. I love what we're doing. I'm excited to stuff that we do. I just want everybody else to see it and be as excited like right now.
Come find us, please, quickly. Hurry up. Get here. This is like yesterday. I said I hadn't read the email that you sent out yesterday, but I had the same comment of I was absolutely thrilled to create a new guide I created a new guide for digital sticker prompts for Midjourney, and I loved doing it. And then I set up the Etsy shop, and that's not really that fun, but I did it, and it was fun because I knew when that was done, I could put that up for sale, and I was so excited. As I was like looking at some of the other shops, just like looking for inspiration for what are they doing for banners or whatever pricing, I was like, oh, I forgot how cheap Etsy is.
Right.
And you get that moment because I just had that moment of this is going to be a lot of work to get to that. But you have to keep that mentality, which is exactly what you reminded me of. It's not just an Etsy shop. It's a place. Etsy's a marketplace. You don't have to look at that just as a place to get sales. You look at that as a place to build your audience too.
Right. And I think sometimes you and we always have to take a step back and reflect on certain things because our situation is different than others. If you're someone who's just getting started and you don't we'll just bring up the person who doesn't have kids, no responsibilities besides their bills and everything, like starting an Etsy shop and selling something for $5 to get some extra money here and there makes perfect sense. And you looks at it and you can be very excited. But when we're sitting here and we're going, okay, we're going to be a 7-8 figure business us putting up something for $7 is like, how's that even getting us anywhere close to what we want to do and anything? But it will. But it's also like when you're just looking at certain numbers like that, and that's when you're like, no, I should be selling $1,000 offers
Right.
and everything. And for those trying to figure out like what's the right business model and everything, that's the kind of the beauty of online business in that there's a billion different paths and everything. It's also the frustrating thing because one person will tell you to do this one path, and another person will tell you another and everything. So like you do have the Etsy gurus who are like, all right, we're going to show you how to do Etsy store and we do digital products. But instead of doing a brand, what they do is they say, what you're going to do is just SEO, and you're going to find the high volume, low competition keywords. And this is how you're going to grind it out, which is a business. And I totally get and everything, but I can't think of very many people that do those kind of things long term, like ever and everything. It's like the person that does SEO niche sites. Like there's a group of them that do it, and that for some reason they're wired where they can just keep on doing them. They build them up, sell them, start a new one, build it up, sell them. But it's always like very few people and everything because it's a grind and everything. And
Yeah. That example is different because build up the niche site to sell it is totally different from create a digital product that is going to improve someone's life in some way. There's no other person really in that equation where you're building a niche site to sell. Like it's you making money. That's it. You don't have that drive to make an impact on someone else's life. And
Right.
those are the people that we want to
Right.
try.
Well, I was comparing the niche site to the Etsy people who are just
Yeah.
starting up new shops and looking for a little niche. I mean, they're just like, okay, these people are selling templates. I'm going to start selling templates and I'm just going to
Yeah.
put them out there. I have no idea how these help people or do anything. I'm just going to keep on putting them out there and everything. And those people grind and everything. But I think there's a group of people. And again, I always wonder would I want my mind to be wired differently in that I will work on something. And if it's not enjoyable in the short term, that's fine. I can push through and everything. But if I could see that it's not going to be enjoyable long term, I won't. I can't do it. I don't see myself doing it and everything. And so I think that's what everything that we teach. There's part of that is embedded in there, and that okay, if you're going to be doing this for 5 years, it might as well be something that you enjoy doing that builds up and everything. I want to enjoy it every day. I have to use some tool to look up Etsy, how certain things are performing, and oh, now I need to create my 500th mug and everything. That again, I'm not saying these are bad businesses and everything.
No.
But I'm just trying to show the difference between like how I
Right.
look at it versus, and somebody buys that mug, you're like they bought the mug. They don't give a shit about me and everything. And then they're gonna find the next store that has a mug.
Yeah. You're not having any impact on their life. Like maybe the mug is a little, but you aren't
And
the creator of the mug.
the brand's not remembered. I can't imagine someone buying a Christmas mug and then going, oh yeah, I bought it from this shop. I got to find this shop again and look for the Valentine's Day mug. They'll just type in Valentine's Day mugs.
And, but there are shops on Etsy that do have them, but they are like, part of what they're selling is like the brand. If this isn't a mug, this is a handcrafted mug from,
Right.
but then that's where the brand comes in.
Right. Those are few and far between. Like the people who do that, I love them. Right?
Yes.
It's very much like Apple saying, I take care of all my things. This is how it's created. This is the packaging. Like I bought stuff from Etsy where it was just normal packaging. And I was like, okay, this person's just running a business. Makes perfect sense. And then I bought something from Etsy and it's just comes in this great box and they give you this wonderful card. And then you're like, oh, these people are building a brand because
Yeah.
they want something bigger and
Yeah.
everything. And that's basically what the difference is coming down to. And the thing is, you might go, and we're just using Etsy as an example. This could apply anywhere. The difference is the person that is just putting it in regular packaging and always just looking for those low competition, high volume keywords and all that kind of stuff. They could keep on doing it for 10 years, but very few people do. And one of the reasons why is because every day is a new grind because you're always have to find new people. When you build a brand and everything, you still want to keep on bringing in new people, but you also get those repeat customers. And then those repeat customers bring in certain volume. And then those repeat customers are telling other people about it and that kind of stuff. Like I think people severely underestimate word of mouth and repeat type of volume. Before we restarted Odd Noodle, there was a time in the past where it had to be something like 90% of our revenue was from repeat buyers. And it was just, it was just easy. It was like we would say, "Oh, we create this new thing," and everybody that bought before would buy the new thing.
That's when it's actually get easy.
That's when it just feels, oh, okay, like I could do this kind of thing forever and everything. It's the grind part where oh, I have to find new people and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
That's what gets people down and everything, and I totally get that. But that also happens when, like, if you're gonna spend the next 2 years trying to grow your audience no matter what, and try to get people to buy. Like, you're gonna do that no matter what. So do you do it where people fall in love with your brand and it makes it easier by the end of the second year, or is it people just see a solution and they buy it and then, oh, you got to find more people the next month and everything, and you just have to keep on doing that. Like, which one do you want to build
Yeah.
and everything? And message wise, for people, they're probably like, I don't care, I just want to make money, which is again the problem, right? I don't give a fuck. How do I get to make? How do I make them? How do I make my $5,000 a month? And so it's interesting messaging and stuff. There are like I could see us having this conversation with some of our older people like Rachel or Danielle or Melissa. Like, they would love to talk about brand. I could sit down with them and they'd probably be like, oh yeah, because now I see my brand is established and my brand does this and this is what it does. But at the very beginning, not saying they wouldn't know what brand is or anything, because they're all very intelligent people, but they're all just, they would have that same thing. No, like, what steps do I need to do now to make money
Yeah.
and everything? They just
Like
happen to
that's like the
do,
urgent thing.
they just,
Mm.
I think people just don't understand that it's not like, how do I make money now? Okay, now let me build the brand. These things are simultaneous. It's nothing fancy either. It's just treating people right, giving them a good experience. Like, things
Right.
you should do naturally anyways.
That was one of the things I was thinking about at the beginning. When we think about step by step, we think about this happens first, this happens second, this happens third. And I really like that. I love step by step. I love to be able to break things down. I appreciate that and I enjoy doing it. But I remember writing, I think 12-hour ebook and thinking the whole time, oh, so you have to be building your audience. Oh, you have to be building your audience.
Right.
You're doing this. Oh, but don't forget, you have to also, there are things that do have to happen simultaneously. And I think that's where I don't know that it's overwhelming, but I think it's just a lot to balance at once.
It is.
Yeah. Especially when you, like, it feels building a brand, like, just feels very like official. Like, it's a thing I should have gone to college for or something like that.
Right.
You can see people on TikTok that were probably just regular everyday people who now have built a brand. Like Michaela Noguera is a makeup person. She just talked about makeup. The brand though had like wild personality.
Like, building a brand does make it sound complicated. Like,
It does.
the brand is being built no matter what. It's either good or bad. That's basically what it
Mhm.
is. Like, everything you do is just part of your brand. That's how people
Yeah.
have to look. Everything you do is part of your brand and everything. So it's just more about, are you intentional about building it, or it just happens the way it happens and everything. So a lot of social media people, like when you just brought up, they're not necessarily intentional about the brand, but they do things in a way that makes them feel good, that helps other people. And so it becomes a good brand. There are other
Mhm.
people who are malicious about it and build up a big audience, and then their brand is associated as something that's bad and everything.
Mhm.
And they might go, I didn't mean it. I didn't try to build it like this. You did, because that's just how you handled things.
Right.
It's no different than how you live your regular life. Like, how do your friends see you? You're
Mhm.
like, oh, my friends love me because of it. Okay, that's your brand to your friend.
Your friend.
and
You're
everything,
right.
right? But you don't wake up going, oh my God, how am I going to build my brand with
Right.
people that I know? You don't think like that.
Yeah.
It just happens naturally. You can be conscious about it. And like I've said a million times already, it's just basically, if you just wake up and go, what's the best experience I can provide for people that helps them out? That's building a brand. You'll be fine. Like, you will 100% be A-okay
Yeah.
with that and everything. And that's something like we overthink, like, it, like, oh my God, we have to keep on helping people do this and do that. And the other people are just like, just buy my $10 thing and you'll make $1 billion and everything.
Yeah.
If you're in the how to make money niche, don't watch TikTok. You can be on TikTok, but don't watch other people on TikTok. It's easily one. It's
You can
easily one
change
of
you
the most.
want to see in the world on TikTok if you're going to do that.
It's easily one of the most frustrating things in the world. I was doing research a couple days ago because I was just like, oh, let me see what messaging people are saying with things. And found this one lady was like, I made six figures in the last 30 days. And it was like my first 30 days. And she did, but it was because she was selling one of those offers where it's buy this course and the way you make money is by selling this course and everything. And so the way she was presenting it and saying it makes people believe, oh, it's this easy and everything. And she was just good at it because she had the personality and she looked believable. And so people jumped on it. And some of her videos went viral and everything. And it worked out for her. Who am I to look at her and be like, you probably shouldn't be doing this? Who am I to say that to her and
Right.
everything? Like, this is messed up what you're doing
Right.
and everything. And then who am I to say that to the people that bought from her? This is messed up because they're going to look at me and go, she made 6 figures in 30 days. Like, what are you talking about? Like, she's not doing anything illegal.
And uh, like someone that made, it's amazing. It's amazing. She made 6 figures in 30 days. There's so many things that had to go right and to happen that she probably didn't experience a lot of things that went wrong.
Right.
And when the things go wrong, that's where you learn and, that's where you can get that knowledge of here's what you don't want to do. This is the way you can do it. And this is the way you probably don't want to do it. And so it's not even that person was probably aware that what they were saying was probably not going to work so well for other people. That was her experience. And so in her mind, I'm sure it was like, I did it. Why can't anybody else can do it?
Right. Obstacle to the message. The messaging always sounds good because you're not aware of anything else, which is a great observation because I know we have that problem of we know good messaging, but we also know all the problems and downfalls, and we feel like we have to add those in to everything because we're like, no, this is just how life is. It's like being a good parent. Like you want to be positive with your kid, but you also want to be like, look, there's some fucking scary people out there, blah, blah, blah. And you gotta look out for this and that. While other parents will be like, oh, just go out and have fun. Run across the street. Don't look both ways. Do random stuff. Life is good and everything. And one kid's gonna go, oh, my parents are great. Like they never say anything bad. While the other one, when they're young, will go, my parents are dicks. They're always looking out for me and like doing this. And until they get older and they see how the world is, they're like, oh my God, like that person was right
Yeah.
and everything. And so it's like,
That's a perfect example, actually.
how do you do that messaging that
Yeah.
the problem is like our message,
How do you tell somebody else about how to avoid it? You've
right?
never,
Like basically this whole conversation comes down to our messaging. And this is something that I often forget only because I see other people doing stuff and we're not at the level I want to be at yet. Our messaging is never going to resonate on a grand scale as well as the other basic messaging and everything. And when I say resonate on a grand scale, it doesn't mean over time it won't happen. I just mean in the short period, the stuff that we say and the way we present it is never going to go viral. It's never going to be like, oh, a million people are like, see, he's bringing up all the downsides of starting an online business. That's what I like to hear. Like a million people aren't going to want to hear that, but a million people over time, over 3, 4, 5 years, will hear it and everything because those people have been through some things and they'll understand it.
Yeah.
And everything. But I subconsciously sometimes forget like the way we want to do it and the way we want to deliver things is purposely just going to take time. Like that's just how it is and everything because I know when it resonates and it hits, it works well for people. And so do I look at what are the results today or do I look at if we keep on doing this for another year, how things are going to be and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also know, and if you're thinking strategic and tactics wise, I also know that once we have that, we already have a good group of people and everything. But once we have more of those people and everything, then what happens is they start telling other people and everything. So there comes a point where you can do like the shitty messaging, the tricky messaging, and you can skyrocket in the short term like this. But then usually what happens is there's 2 things that I've seen, and you have to let me know if you see something else. One is the person just drops because for whatever reason, you don't know what happened. Maybe they're just like, I don't like doing this. This doesn't feel good, or the tactics aren't working. Or the person kind of pivots where they're, okay, I realized this messaging was not the best I should have done, but now that I had this huge audience, now I get to say things the right way and everything. And so now the new people are like, oh, this person says things the right way. They have 100,000 followers, so that's how I'm going to do it. And they only have 100,000 followers because they said things a different way that built them up. And so that do it. With us, it's always going to be like steady, get a people, and then it's going to take off. Like it's going to be more logarithmic.
And one of the hardest parts of that is staying consistent and just it is a grind when you're in that plateau season and just trusting that it's going to work and obviously analyzing things as you go, but keeping that consistency during that time period is so hard because you feel like that urgency of like, working, I better try something else. So what's next? What can I do now? And that's when I always think that there's one point where you're like, I don't know what to do. I'm not going to do anything. I don't know what to do.
Right.
And then you get past that point and you're like, oh my God, I have so many things that I need to or want to or can think of doing, and I can't focus on any of them.
Right. And looking back at the past couple of months, I will say, and I'll just bring this up because it might happen to other people. I had a major hiccup where I was like, I'm going to grow on Twitter because the people on Twitter, text wise, it's easier for me to get my message out. There are a lot of people on Twitter who have been through the whole trying to build a business here and everything. So it resonates with people and it works. And it was working well. But now the problem with Twitter is the algorithm changed to the point where if you don't have a blue check, you're basically not getting seen by anybody and everything. And I'm not buying a blue check. I refuse to buy a blue check on that platform for a million different reasons. It's just never going to happen and everything. And because of that, it's okay. This whole 5-6 months basically gone out the window and everything. So now what and everything? Most of the time, that's not going to happen to you because most of the time when you pick a major social platform, it doesn't change that drastically. You'll be okay.
Right.
Like the algorithm will change everything, but you still will be fine and everything.
Yeah.
I stopped posting anywhere, and that's obviously a major problem and everything. And so I had to get back to I'm choosing this platform, and this is what I'm going to do. And this is what I'm going to grow and everything.
Yeah.
And we've been through this a million times where it's also that looking at something new and you're like, I have 0 followers. God, this is going to suck all over again, and everything. But right, like it's something you just have to do.
Yeah.
And everything. So that's where I was at. That's where I'm at with my stuff and everything, because I feel like I shouldn't pick Twitter. But again, like it's unpredictable. Like you can't go, oh, this guy's gonna come in and he's gonna make it so
No.
only if you pay this much a month is the only, right.
No.
You pay this much a month is the only way you get to be seen. Like, which has never been done on a social media network ever. And so it's like, why did you have to do this? But then but I could easily change by going, I'll buy the blue check. But I understood from my own reasons and everything, like it's just not going to happen. And I've accepted. I never sat there and go, this sucks. Why did it happen like this? I understood like I could change it if I wanted to, but because I don't want to, I'm very aware, okay, I got to find another solution to make up for that other stuff and everything. It's just in a short time period, we've been doing blogging and Pinterest and creating offers and everything. So it hasn't been like first thing in my mind, okay, I got to jump on this different platform. For those who are wondering, it'll be LinkedIn and Threads, but there'll be 2 different messages. Like LinkedIn will be more the business side. Threads, I think I'm going to lean more into the AI talking stuff. How come which thing? Like why they're separate?
Why separate, and why, obviously I can totally understand why business on LinkedIn, but why the AI stuff on Threads?
Threads will have business stuff as well. But for me, I'm such a weird person. Like visually, it feels like Threads feels like it should have images and everything. And I'm going to be posting images and they won't, I'm not saying it will be all like Midjourney or stuff like that, but a lot of it will be those people who are looking at how do I utilize AI to boost my business and those kind of things. It feels like again, I'm just making this up. This is going with my gut. It just feels like that's the right discussion and where I want to take my brand on that platform.
Yeah. And the other thing is it feels very natural to go from making something in Midjourney. Like you see it come up and you're like, that would look great on Threads or Instagram or like that type of that format fits it so perfectly.
Yeah. And so that's it. Again,
it almost feels like it takes some of the steps away. Like, yeah.
And again, it's not me going, oh, strategically, this is the smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Talk about AI over here. I'm just like, my gut, I go with it. I'm like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. Because LinkedIn's totally ugly and everything. I'm not like, oh, I should invest in doing great images and everything on LinkedIn. It's just
and I think that like what you just said, that's just what I want to do. That's just what I instinctually feel like I should do. And so I'm going to. I think like a lot more people need to start thinking that way. Like most of the people that are at the place where you want to be, they probably didn't have a handbook. They were writing the handbook as they were getting there. Have the steps and everything, but I think that trusting your gut and just making a decision when you don't really know what the answer is going to be, you have to become okay with that. And I think that's really hard for a lot of people. I can think of people right off the top of my head. I could think of especially one person in particular right off the top of my head who I think has a really hard time with that. Just you you just have to do things without knowing what's going to happen. And that's so uncomfortable because I don't there's so few places in life where you really do that.
And don't get me wrong, there probably is some subconscious thread that my brain goes to. Will it do this basic thing? Yeah, okay, do it. So if I'm looking at threads and I go, obviously I see people succeeding on threads. So we know that can work. That's one of the subconscious things. Like is anybody succeeding here? If it was a brand new platform that I saw nobody succeeding on, I would not go, well, I'm just gonna go with my gut and do it. Like my gut would say, don't do it because nobody else is succeeding. That's an obvious thing. Don't do it. Everything. So that's one check. The next check is, okay, I just have to post content. Like you just have to be consistent with content. So I know that subconsciously. So then when I go, oh, I want to post AI, it's not me going, is AI the right thing? Or it's me going, people succeed and they succeed by posting content. I just have to figure out how to make the AI stuff work on there and everything.
And how you figure out how to make it work on there is
You just do it. You just post.
say the right answer.
But that's the funniest thing about like business is when people go, I don't know if this is going to work. I'm like, one of the first things that I say is, has it worked for anybody else? Yes. I go, okay, that's literally all you need. That's literally all you need. It's work for other people. Why can't it work for you? So that's all you're figuring out is how do you make it work for you? You're not wondering, can this work? That shouldn't, that question should never, the question is, can this work? Or can I do this? It should just be like, have somebody else already done it? Okay. Then I can do it. Now I can figure out how to do it or how to make it happen and everything. That's literally, that's it. So that's probably a lot of why me and you could just go forward and do things because, well, look, like when Mary Beth just launched the new Etsy store, there's no thought of, there's no 10-step breakdown of, oh my God, like what it's, oh, we see that work for other people and they're doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
And so now it's just figuring out how to make it work for us. That's it. There was no hesitation with it because yeah, like it's there, like it's already working for other people and everything.
Right.
Okay. Can we just do it better and do it our way? Yeah. We think we can. Okay. Let's do it.
Yeah. And I was 100% the complete opposite of that not that long ago, where I'd be like, I don't know how to. That's fine. It honestly, if there's something that you want to do and you don't know how to do it, not knowing how to do it does not matter. You just go learn it. Just go figure it out. Go
Right.
do it, mess it up, fix it.
It's very similar to when it was just my wife and I, no kids, because it doesn't work like this anymore. But my wife, I'm hungry. I'm like, I'm hungry. And she's okay, let's figure out where to go. And I'm like, we're going to sit here forever trying to figure out. Cause I said, let's just go out. We know we're hungry, so we know we need to eat. We will go out. We will come across the place that we want to eat. But let's go out and take that action. And we just sit here thinking about it. I know we're going to be here forever trying to figure it out and everything because you're going to start questioning everything.
Mhm.
And it sucks to do that. We had a call for our program a couple of days ago, and I won't say this person's name. It's not bad or anything. I just want. She said something so insightful where she was like, I had these mindset issues and I don't know what they are and I can't, but she said, I know it's going to work. I know I'm going to make it work. That's what she said. She said, I know I'm going to make it work on all these other mindset issues. And right when she said, I know I'm going to make it work, I was like, that's usually the first step for a lot of people. And that's usually all you need. Like, I know I'm going to make it work somehow. But when you get caught up in the, what are the steps for this? What are the steps for that? Don't get me wrong. You should be thinking about steps. But if you find yourself thinking about steps for days or weeks and everything, that's when you know you're screwing up somewhere.
Yeah.
And everything. Like it should just be like, okay, I know I'm going to make this work and I know I'm going to figure it out. Okay, then do it. Like just go on and do it and everything. I remember like when I first created offers, a lot of my offers were very like no step-by-step stuff. And it was very like, I don't know the right term, but very theoretical and everything. Cause I was like, if I give people like the boundaries and everything, they'll figure out their way to do it. And a lot of people were like, okay, how do I do this specific thing and everything? And then I started teaching this specific thing, which I didn't mind doing. I didn't like doing only because a lot of times in what we do, you teach someone how to do a specific thing, things change. So if we did Pinterest and we're like, this is the step-by-step for Pinterest and Pinterest changes and you're like, damn it, I got to do a different thing all over again and everything. So it was more just, should you focus on the specific step-by-steps or you should just understand social media is like, all social media is like this in general. Do you try to figure out the step-by-step of how to succeed on a platform or do you just come with the understanding that just create great content? Like just first get that really nailed that down where you create great content and then You can worry about if there's a specific step by step that you need to follow that will change in 3 months. And
Yeah, it's like step one is create great content. And then everything else is in support of that. Learn SEO, use the hashtag strategy, use the whatever else strategy there is. But that none of that matters whatsoever if there's not great content behind it.
right, right. I think blogging is always a perfect example where we teach people blogging. Okay, I'm doing these steps for this SEO, blah, blah, blah. Nothing's happening. And then you go look at their blog post and it sucks. Step one, write something good, write something people care about and everything, because the rest doesn't matter
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah. And that's a big problem, just as an aside, of how people will teach it. SEO is they'll teach it super structured and do all these things and forget about the like, but if when some people get there and they're not staying to read it, what's the good?
And this goes all the way back to the beginning of the call. And I think this is why I always had a lot of problems with step by step stuff, is because it goes back to the brand, and the brand is a feeling and everything. And that, like, when people go and read Odd Noodle stuff, yeah, we want the information to be comprehensive, and yeah, there are steps that we follow. When I was thinking about Odd Noodle, like even the name itself, like I thought, oh, I want Odd Noodle because I want people who are like us know that they're odd and different from everyone else. Like they just see that and they're like, okay, wow. And then when I came across the images that I wanted to use, it was just like, okay, I want people to have that kind of feeling and all that kind of stuff. Like that, those things I don't have step by steps for. It's just that feeling. Like I want people to feel a certain way when they come across it. When they read our content, I want them to feel a certain way. And so I know you and I for the longest time was with AI content, simply because I'm like, AI is never going to represent your brand. Like AI content can never portray you and your brand and everything. But like telling people that, they're like, okay, what the hell does that even mean? Okay, teach me how to make it happen. I'm like, I don't know how to make it happen. Like, you just feel it and everything. And I think that was the biggest struggle we had back in the past, of teaching people like, okay, like your blog's fine, like the content's fine, but like reading it, it has the information. But who the hell are you? Like I didn't read it and felt like I became any closer to you. I didn't feel
Yeah.
like there was anything you. Like I could read this blog post on 20 other sites and I
Mhm.
would have no idea like what it was and everything. But again, a lot of people would say, what's that matter? What's that matter? As long as I rank and everything. It matters because even if it's just one person every week or one person every day, if it sticks and resonates with that one person, then you got it.
Yeah.
Like our friendship would not happen if I wasn't a good writer and had a brand in mind with obstacle,
That's
right?
true.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah. That is true.
that's just how it is and everything. But I had to deal with people like yourself buying other people's programs because they taught it a certain way and they had a certain message and everything. My message was completely different. Sometimes I just have to wait till people go through some things before they come here.
Yeah. You're probably exactly right on that. If I hadn't bought the thing I bought previously, this is 6, 7 years ago. I don't even remember.
Time just keeps on moving. It was
Oh, wait, it's 2023? I don't know. I don't even know anymore. I don't know. 6 years ago, I think. I probably would have been like, what? What's he talking about?
and that's always gonna be like the forever challenge of, oh God, like we've done so many things, we've run so many experiments, succeeded so many times, failed even more times, that there's so many lessons that we can that we can relay back to people and everything. I know we always want to, but again, with that one person who just found success within 1 month, they don't have any of those things. They don't have that baggage that's going to help people. And I don't, baggage is the wrong word, but I see it as now we get to teach people in a way that as they continue their journey, we always have an answer for them. Like blah blah blah. I always wonder, and I'm always very curious of those people who teach those programs like right off the bat. I'm like, are there people asking them once they hit a roadblock, what do you do? And I want to know
That's
like how do
my
people
first
answer
question.
them? I want to know how people answer. I'm so
Yeah.
curious.
Whenever somebody would ask me about it, if I'd be on a TikTok live and someone would say, what do you think about PLR or MRR? Especially MRR, because MRR's big thing is there's a community where you can go back and ask questions. I'm like, but who's answering the questions? I don't get it.
It's always gonna be the beginning people, because the beginning people are
Right.
like so excited and they want to be there. The people who are
Yeah.
succeeding are like, I'm succeeding, like I'm making money. Like, I don't need to be in there. That's how it was, and it probably still is. That's how it was with the blogging Facebook groups,
Okay.
where it was always just the beginning people, just the fun. I'm thinking about this one blogging Facebook group, and you know what, I don't have to say which one what it is. But I was like, man, there was never any experts. Talking about brand, like people would tag me. I would visit every once in a while, but people would tag me like, oh, I hope Scripps shows up to answer this question and everything.
Yeah.
And not show up and answer. But there was always like there was one expert there. And I was like, man, why is this person still always here? And the reason why that person was always there is because they kept on selling to these people. It wasn't their community or their program. They would always show up. Like their
Mhm.
answers would always piss me off because the person would ask a question and their answers would be, it's in this offer that it's in my book for this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, such a dick thing to say, like all the time. Like every once in a while I get up, but it was like every single time. And
Yeah.
so I would be different. I would go in and I would just answer. And people like, oh, I
Right.
appreciate that. It's a different perspective. Yeah, but I would only visit every once in a while because it was so frustrating looking back because it was beginners always asking the same questions and be like beginners answering the same questions in a way that didn't help the people move forward and everything. And I was like, man,
Right.
I'm not going to be in, I can't be in there and everything. So yeah. Oh,
The old days of Facebook
yeah.
group.
If I was on Facebook anymore, I would probably hop in just to see how they are and everything, but
Never have and never will be.
I'm not going down that path.
Yeah.
All right. Usually were we supposed to do 30-minute podcasts? Was that our goal at the beginning?
30
Okay.
minutes. Now almost longer. Right.
This one's an hour and 15 minutes.
Well,
Yeah, we weren't even close. I totally forgot our goal when we first started. I was like, okay, we're gonna do 30-minute podcast, whatever. Apologize, everyone. But hopefully it was entertaining and everything. And
listen to it while you're washing floors or something.
okay, to sum it up, basically long term, you want to build a brand. You're gonna build a brand no matter what. You want it to be a brand that resonates with people because you want more freedom and you want the life to be easier. The reason I say it's going to help you with more freedom is because a year from now, 2 years from now, it's not that you get to stop selling or you get to stop talking about things, but there becomes a compound effect when you have a good brand where other people are talking about you, other people are sharing your stuff, more people are doing the same work that you're doing for yourself, and that just starts to compound and things become easier and everything. And that's why you want to build a brand versus just a machine that constantly has to churn people through and everything. All right. Now we're gonna have I should write the tribe book. The tribe. There's a book on our shop. And I put it up at first I had it for free and I was like, no. The reason I didn't make it free is because I was like, everybody should just pay like even a little bit, just so they have that commitment. Like I bought this.
Yes.
I gotta do it.
Yeah.
So when you see it, I think it's $5 right now. So when you see it, don't be like, oh my God, he's trying to get rich off of $5. No, but I did have that. No, you should feel like you bought this and everything.
Yeah.
Because Mary Beth went through the book. Mary Beth did the images. It was a lot bigger than I thought it was.
Me too. I mean, I have also read it, but then going back and doing the images, I'm like, it's gonna take me days to put the images of this thing. I think it did take me days.
Yeah, but it's a good book. But it's also, God damn, real quick. It's also one of those things that there's not really step by steps, but it gives you a framework
Yeah.
of everything.
It'll
What you
kind of,
put out.
if you need like a refreshed look at the way you should do things, but not necessarily the steps. Like you're looking for one of the aha moments. It's not going to be a moment because the book's really long. But if you need that aha thing, Tribe book is probably good.
I was gonna say, even though it's called building a tribe, it's basically that's your brand. Like you're building a brand. It's showing you how you should think about doing things and resonating with people and everything. It's really good. I don't. I remember I wrote it a couple years ago. I do not remember writing it
I
whatsoever.
do. I remember it.
I remember parts, but looking at how long it was, I'll go, there's no way I wrote this. Like, how did I write? Like, how did I write this?
Scrolling, I'm like, what?
So, and when the blogging book comes out, same thing with the blogging book. I'm like, I've created so much content. When did this happen? Like ever and everything. But that's the
Yes.
beauty of creating content and everything. You always have an asset around. And
Yeah.
all right, everyone. Until next time. See you later.
Yeah.